Hey guys.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and for today's video, this is going to be the first video on my channel actually. So as you can tell by the title, this is going to be a K-pop collecting channel, and of course, what better way to kick it off than with a collection video. So to give you guys some background about me in terms of collecting at least, I have been collecting photo cards for over 3 years now, almost 4 actually, and since then I do currently collect a total of 7 groups. Of those 7 groups, 5 of them are girl groups, 2 of them are boy groups, and as you can tell by the binder in front of you, you can probably already guess what one of those girl groups are, and it is none other than Twice. So Twice is my old group. I do mainly collect Taeyeon, however, you'll notice that I also collect a couple OT9 sets, and when it comes to the rest of my bias line, I do tend to collect a little bit for them as well. But one thing I do want to preface is that I am not a completionist, at least not right now. Basically, currently there isn't any one that I'm collecting where I'm trying to get all of their Korean album cards. I pretty much just get what I really like, and so far I've been enjoying collecting that way. So now we're gonna go ahead and get into the binders. So this is actually the first Twice binder out of 2. So this one is purely Korean album photo cards, although as you can tell, this is gonna have to be split up soon, especially by next comeback. This binder is gonna get split up. But yeah, this is the Korean album binder. And you'll notice for some eras, I do have cover pages for them. So these are just collages I made through extra albums. I don't have one for every era, maybe one day, but for now, we start off with The Story Begins. And for this album, I just collected OT9 for the adult photo cards. Then we move on to page 2, and then for Twice Coaster Lane 1, for the selfie cards, I ended up collecting my top 4. So my top 4 is Taeyeon, Chui, Nayeon, and Mina. And then for the hollows, I collected full group. Then we've got Twice Coaster Lane 2 and Signal, Twice-Degram and Marion Happy. For What Is Love, I did collect Taeyeon's full set, so I have 9 cards on this page. And then for those last 2 cards, I collected OT9 sets. So we have the signature set. And then for the second set, the What Is Love music video is like my favorite music video like of all time, not just strictly K-pop, like in general. So I thought as a cool way to kind of honor it or commemorate it, I thought it would be nice to kind of get cards based off of my favorite parodies in the music video. So we have the Princess Diaries unit, the Romeo and Juliet unit, and then this is the only movie I'm not familiar with, but I think it's like Leon or something, but these cards are adorable. So yeah, I know it might bother some people that it's a mix and match, but like I said, it's a personal OT9 set, so it brings me a lot of joy whenever I look at this page. So then after that, we move on to Summer Nights. So for this album, I just collected a top 3 page, as you can see, although I did buy some copies after the fact, so I actually have some extra Diane cards on the back, which I don't know how I feel about that right now, but it is what it is. And then for Yes or Yes, I once again just collected a top 3 page. And honestly, they're just not really my favorite cards, at least when it comes to Diane. They're just not my favorite Diane cards. So I thought it would be more fun to just collect the top 3 page instead. And then we have The Year of Yes and Fancy You. I do really like Diane's Fancy You cards. However, they're just not really a priority right now. And you know, I've been liking collecting top 3 pages, so I thought I'd just continue the theme here with Fancy You. So then we get to Feel Special. So Feel Special actually marks a bit of a shift in terms of how I collect Twice from here on out. So basically for each album onwards, I have 2 like collecting minimums, I guess you can call it. So basically this is what I'll be collecting at the very least whenever Twice comes out with a new album. So the first one is that I will be collecting all of Taeyeon's normal album cards. So I say normal because when it comes to her special cards like gold cards, lenticulars, IDs, unit cards, stuff like that, those still tend to be hit or miss for me. Granted, if I pull it, obviously I'll keep her, but for the most part, I'm still not fully collecting Taeyeon at this point, but I'm collecting a majority of her cards at the very least. So yeah, that's the first one, all of Taeyeon's normal album cards. But then the second minimum is a top 3 page. Now, this kind of depends on whether or not I collect any OT9 sets, as well as kind of like how many cards there are per member for each era. But for the most part, if I can collect a top 3 page, I absolutely will. So those are like the two consistent themes you'll see for each era. So now we'll move on to more and more. We have a tie-on page, and this was actually my first comeback with Twice, so you'll see I start to use album scraps, like extra album scraps, as my fillers now. So yeah, we have tie-ons page, top 3. Let me scoop this up actually. And then I did collect 2 OT9 sets, so I have the signature set as well as the white border set, which in my opinion is actually super underrated. Like, it is such a cohesive set, and you get like a little, you know, personalization from each of the members, but I digress. And then lastly, oops, we have some of the unit cards. So I did collect all of Diane's unit cards for this album, but the like horizontal ones are towards the latter end of the binder, so you'll see those later. But I do have both of her red bordered ones here, and then to fill the page I collected my favorite Nyan and Tsui unit, as well as just putting that Most card in the middle. Next we have Eyes Wide Open, which for this album I actually collected Jungyeon's PC because, as you can see, Taeyeon is photobombing in the background, so I thought it would be really fun. Oh my god, I keep knocking the camera, sorry. I thought it would be fun to have this card, so that's why it's right there in the middle. But then after that, we've got top 3, and I did collect 1 OT9 set for this album. Moving on to Taste of Love. So this is a prime example of kind of what happens when I don't collect any OT9 sets and when there aren't a lot of cards per member. So what I ended up doing was just collecting my top 3 for this album, but instead of the lenticulars, I opted for their with drama benefits, just because at least like concept-wise, I have 1 of each concept on each page. And I'm also just not the biggest fan of lenticulars, so I opted for these. And then on the back side, I actually have Diane's Sonara Pob as well. Again, not my preference to have it on the back, but it is what it is. So now we move on to Formula of Love. So for the first page, I have her result file version in the middle, 2 standard album cards, and then both of her IDs. Oh, sometimes I forget. I have her Sonara benefit on the back as well. But then for my top 3 page, if you're familiar with Twice cards, you know that for this bottom row, this Nyan doesn't technically go with these 2, but I pulled this Nyan card and I like this card a lot, so it's staying there. But then after that, I collected 1 OT9 set yet again, which then leads us to Between 1 and 2. So for this album, I originally collected my top 3 and then 2 OT9 sets, but that ended up changing because I ended up pulling Diane's message card, and I really wanted her JYP shop and her Withmu Pob. So I ended up just giving Diane her own page, and instead of dropping Chewy and Nyan, I thought of just collecting Meetup. So yeah, I collected my top 4 for this album, basically. And the 2 OT9 sets that I went with were of course, the plush/food set, as well as this Pathfinder set. And now that leads us to their most recent album, Ready to Be, and I ended up collecting OT9 for this album, and literally the only card I am missing is Momo's Digipack card. Once I get that card, I will have finished OT9 for this album, which is insane for me to think about because I never thought I'd collect full group for any era ever. But long story short, I ended up doing this because I actually got to see them during the Ready to Be tour, and it was my first time seeing them in person, like in concert. And, you know, I thought to commemorate that experience, why not collect full group for the album that they're touring with? I was able to go to the 2 nights that they had at my state, and man, it was an experience. Like, if you have the opportunity to go to a Twice concert, even if you're all the way in the nosebleeds, I couldn't recommend it anymore. Like, it was truly a life-changing experience. But yeah, that's Twice for you. I even collected the message cards, which I actually thought about not collecting, but when I bought my albums, I got a decent variety, so I was like, whatever, I'll just collect the message cards. And it was really easy too anyways, so no big deal there. And then I did expand a bit more on Dion Pobs. I'm trying to really reel it in because I don't want to get into that Pob craze, but I do have a couple here. So I do have both of her JYP shop pre-order benefits, her Target card. I believe this is Soundwave, one of her Digipack unit Pobs, and then these two are her Withmoo lucky draws, I believe. Yes. So yeah, that's ready to be. Alright, so the next section in the Twice binder is my solos and subunits page section. So I just have these in release order. So we start off with Nyan, and for her, I pretty much just wanted one of each of the different colored backs. So I have yellow, black, blue, and purple, I believe, right? Yeah. And then I only bought 3 copies of her album, and thankfully I pulled 3 different business cards, so I have those in the middle. But yeah, I'm thinking about collecting 2 more cards just to make this a full 9 pocket. And if I do, I'd collect her 2 other yellowback cards, which I'll probably put on the screen so you guys know what I'm referring to. But yeah, right now I'm content with the Nyan cards I have. And then for Misamo, I originally intended to collect one of each member for the standard cards, but then when I bought on Mercari Japan, those cards were a lot more pricier than I thought they were going to be. So for now, I just have Mina cards, but eventually I do want to get a Momo and Sana equivalent for this Mina, but I couldn't help myself. I did get Mina's, I think this is her showcase or exhibition card. And then I mean, this Tower Records card is just too pretty, so had to get that one. And if anything, I still have Momo and Sana representation on this page with the standard unit card, which then leads us to the last solo for now, and that is Miss Geo. So for her, I collected 2 of each color, so I think it's orange, brown, and white. And then these were just my Digipack pulls, and then I actually was able to trade for this Geopob from a fellow once at a trading event, and they were like so nice. They traded like a normal album card and let me get this Geopob. Like, they were amazing. I love onces. And then I also, on the back, I did have Geo's Target card originally on the front, but I had to put that one on the front. So yeah, there we go. So those are the solos and subunits. And then, listen, one thing about me is that if I'm going to be collecting a group, it's because I love all the members. So you'll notice for all of my collections, I do have a bad habit of keeping extra cards that I'm not collecting, or like that's not on my wish list, I guess you could say. But I just can't help myself. So this whole section, literally this whole section, except for like the last couple pages, are just extra Twice cards I've decided to keep. So for starters, I just have a bunch of What Is Love cards, because if I were to ever go back and collect like an older Twice era, like full group, I'd start with What Is Love. So yeah, these are just mostly pulls. Some of these are cards I just bought on an off chance. But yeah, just to have all those in the front. And then after that, I just have member pages, basically. To save time, I'm not gonna like call out every single card. I'm sure most of you kind of get the gist. So yeah, I just have member pages here. And usually if I keep cards, it's because I might collect OT9 sets for them later, or like I mean, if the card is just iconic, like hello. So so yeah, that's why I tend to keep like extra cards for just Twice, and like I said, all the other groups I collect. Like it's just a bad habit, like I said. But yeah, we round it off with Chewy. So yeah, unsurprisingly, mostly Nyan and Chewy towards the back end. Here is where I store all of my extra like units and group cards. So got those ones, and then all of my horizontal cards I store together. So here are the rest of the more and more units that I said that I collected. And then for group cards, I mean, if I pull them, I'll just keep them. So we've got those. And then at the very back, I have some extra ID cards because I love ID cards. So yeah, that's going to do it for the first Twice binder. Like I said, these were all of my Korean album photo cards. So now let's move on to the second binder. All right. So here is the second Twice binder. So I actually just recently bought this binder, so I haven't had the chance to make a cover page for it. And I think when I do, I'm probably going to use their next comeback as the cover page. But yeah, as you can probably guess, this is my non-album Twice binder, which funnily enough is also getting pretty full, but we're not going to talk about it. So opening the binder up, These are just some pictures I printed out that the members posted during their stop at my state. But yeah, these are just pictures I printed out just as a cover page. But when it comes to the actual cards, I do have an extra Ready to Be die-on that my sister gifted me back there. Now, onto the non-album cards. We start off with the monographs. So for the monographs, I only buy them if like the era means a lot to me. So obviously I have What Is Love. And then I have Eyes Wide Open because for a while this was in my top 3 Twice eras alongside What Is Love and Feel Special, which sadly don't have the Feel Special monograph yet, but yeah, this was in my top 3 for a while. But then Between 1 and 2 happened, so yeah, that kind of took its spot. So yeah, I have Between 1 and 2, and then of course Ready to Be. I'm debating on also getting More and Mores because that was my first comeback with Twice, but for now I'm content with what I have. But I do have some individual monograph cards as well. So I do have extras of my top 3 for What Is Love because at the time when I bought these, I literally never thought I'd be able to get my hands on the full OT9 set. But here we are. So yeah, I have dupes of those. And then I also have tie-on for Summer Nights as well as Feel Special. So this could possibly end up being a dupe in the future. But yeah, that's kind of all I'm collecting right now for monographs. Now, the one thing that I do try to consistently collect for die-on when it comes to non-album are her season's greeting cards, because even though they are concept pictures, I think it's a nice way to like represent, you know, a year. I don't know. It's weird. I just thought it'd be nice. So I am technically up to date, although I'm pretty sure for 2024 people have already been receiving the season's greeting, so I'm probably not up to date anymore. But we have 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, and for 23 I do have 2 of her, or both of her, JYP shop pobs. And then these next couple pages are honestly really random. So I have her like Once Begins fan meet set. This is from Twice University, Twi. I call this her 5th anniversary card, but I know it's technically the light band card. I forgot to put the sticky note here, but I want to get her like Bluetooth speaker card with the Dave Lee, so that's gonna go there. But then I have World in a Day photo book. Again, I call this her 6th anniversary card, but it's the toothbrush sterilizer thing, right? I don't know. And then for the Yes I Am Diane, I just bought her beige version, so I have those cards. And then for the Ready to Be MD, I believe this was an online benefit if you spent a certain amount. And then this is one for units from the trading card set, and her clear card from the collect book. And then from Once Again, this is another one. I believe this is one of her, like if you pay a certain amount, benefits. But then from the actual trading card set, these were actually pulls. So I did pull her selfie, 2 of her normal cards, and then her unit. I don't know if I'm going to try and complete the rest of her set. I'm sure it will be really easy, especially if I go on Mercari Japan. But for now, I'm okay with what I've got. And then after that, we have Daikon stuff. So I do have my top 3 for 2020. But then for the most recent one, like that mini Defesta thing, I did get Diane's version. So I have her 2 special cards. And then I only stored her for the concept cards. But then for the selfies and the photo booth cards, I did store full group. Now, unfortunately, Jungyeon did not participate in this. So for the selfie sets, I went ahead and put like the unit card or the group card as like a placeholder for her. So that way I can also maintain the age order spots. So yeah, that's kind of what I did for these selfies. And then for that last set, I of course matched it like concept wise. And then for the photo booth cards, I just did member rows. I did try to like make a set, but I think it just looked a little messy. So I just did member rows, and I think it looks really nice actually. So we've got that. Then this is the JYP Shop Candy Bong Infinity pre-order set. For the Ready to Be trading card set, I collected my top 4, so I just have it like in a mirrored layout basically. But then in the middle, this is Diane's collect book concept card. And then same thing, but then this is her selfie card for the collect book. And to finish off those trading cards, I did collect OT9 for the Hollows, the 4th Gen Once fan kit, which is such a crazy good set, like come on now. And just for funsies, I did store their ID cards as well. Diane's isn't in here because I am using it in the little keychain thing, so yeah, she's not in here right now. And then after that, we have some Japanese. like Polaroids. I don't really collect these. I just kind of happen to just get them. You know, like I said, they're random. So I have my top 3 for the Tokyo Dome Twice Lights Polaroids, and then this is from, I think, Fake and True era, or And Twice, I think is the one. I always forget if it's And Twice or the repackage. I don't know. But yeah, this is her unit with Sana. And then these are just extra, once again, cards I have that I pulled. I think I have some on the back, yeah, because I was too lazy to grab another page for those. And then these are just extra pop cards I have of Sana, Mina, and Sui for the Withmu Candy Bong Infinity cards. And then I have Chaeyoung and Sui for the Sonara Formula of Love pops. Which then leads us to the last portion of this binder, which I'm going to flip through pretty quickly. It's just all of the like standard JYP shop cards. JYP shop, hello. Like the standard benefits you'd get from any album, no matter where you pre-order from. So yeah, I just store all of Diane's. I originally collected or stored full group sets, but it just took up too much space way too quickly. So I do store all of Diane's. Please ignore that empty spot. But then I do selectively store Nayeon's and Chui's. So yeah, I just have those 2 pages. And then for the sets I really love, I just did full group for them. So this was actually the very first like photocard thing, set, whatever, that I ever purchased. And this to me like marked the beginning of my K-pop collecting and also just being an official once. So yeah, this set marks that for me. But then here are some other favorites that I have put in here. And then there are some bigger inclusions on the back, but I'm not going to show those in this video just because I don't collect bigger inclusions. I only collect photo cards. So yeah, just sticking to photo cards for this video. So yeah, that's going to do it for the Twice collection, which if you're curious, the rest of the JYP cards, like the pre-order benefits, I just kept them in the like packaging. So if you're wondering where those are, they're stored away. So yeah, that's going to do it for Twice. All right, so the next binder we are going to be looking at is my girl groups binder. Here she is. So as you can tell, once again, by the cover, you can probably already guess what one of the girl groups are in here. But yes, there are 4 additional girl groups in this binder. And the first one we are starting off with is Red Velvet. I just have these in debut order in case anyone's wondering. And again, collages that I made myself. So we start off with, like I said, Red Velvet, and in Red Velvet, I do mainly collect Wendy. So I have her for the first 4 eras, but then from Rookie onwards, I pretty much just collect at least 1 card per album. So again, like I said, I'm not a completionist. So for her, I try to collect at least 1 card. So we have Rookie. For the Red Summer, I did collect an OT5 set because it's basically like my equivalent with What Is Love to Twice. Like this is the era that got me into them. So, or like the first song I heard of theirs that got me into them. So yeah, I collected a full set for that. And then I do have Wendy's other red flavor card. Then we have 1 from the Perfect Velvet, Perfect Red Velvet, both of her limited cards from Summer Magic, RBB. These 2 I believe are day 1, day 2, and then for Finale, I do have 4 out of the 5 of her cards. I probably will get that 5th card eventually. It's just, again, not a priority, so I didn't even bother putting a placeholder for it, but eventually I will get that 5th card. And then Queendom was my first comeback with them as a full group, so I collected Wendy's full set for that, but then I just have 1 for Feel My Rhythm, these 2 from Birthday, and then for Chill Kill, which is their most recent album, I actually was able to do a little duo page for Irene and Wendy because Irene is my second bias. So for them 2, I am just collecting their sisters' photo book cards, 2 of their package cards, and then I also got their Make Star Pobs, and yeah, that's it. That's all I'm collecting for the both of them. But then I do have 1 OT5 set because I did get 1 back version, so thankfully I did pull the set that I preferred because of these 2 cards specifically, but darn, I do kind of wish I had the other Yeri card, but I digress. Then as you saw, I do casually collect Miss Irene. So like what I mean by casually is like if I pull her, I'm gonna keep her card, and then I don't actively look for her stuff, but if I find one for a really good price, then I'll snag it. So for her, I just actually have this lovely little 9 pocket. So we have Ice Cream Cake, The Velvet, Perfect Velvet, Day 1, Finale, Queendom, Feel My Rhythm, birthday. This is actually her K-Town For You birthday. And I just remembered that I do have her other package Chill Kill card on the back. So again, I was just too lazy to grab a whole page for just one card. So she's there for now. That's my Irene collection. And fun fact, this card onwards, these are all pulls. so yeah, very proud of myself for that. But anyways, after that, you saw it a bit there already. But we have the solos and subunits. So for Wendy's solo, I went ahead and just collected all of her cards with the exception of like that super rare limited ones and arguably some of her best cards like this one. Yeah, anyways, that's Wendy's solo. And then for the rest of these solos and subunits, I went ahead and just bought one copy and then just kept what I pulled. And then of course, you guys already know, I do have a couple extra cards. I just have these in release order, I believe. So yeah, I have at least 2 of everybody, although for Joy, I do have a 3rd card. And then I used to collect an album for Wendy, but like even then it was bare minimum. So I have this, I think is a Reveille Festival finale sticker. This is one of her fortune cards from the La Rouge concert. This is her December Dear You letter. 2021 season greetings, I believe. And then I actually also have Sulgi's K-Town For You pop in the middle, as well as this OT5 set from the 2020 season's greetings, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's non-album Red Velvet. So after that, we move on to Miss Promise 9. So Promise 9 was a bit of a rocky journey because initially I did collect Yuri and Chang, so they are actually one of 2 groups that I actually consistently collect 2 members for because as you saw with like Wendy and Irene, I kind of collect both of them, but I don't, you know. But for this group, I do collect 2 members equally. So initially, like I said, it was Yuri and Chang, and I want to get their 2 heart Polaroids. Those were literally the only cards I'm missing for this page. But then after that, I do make a jump to Talk and Talk just because this was the song that I got into them with, if I'm being honest. And everything in between, card-wise, again, they're just not really a priority for me. Like some of them I would like to get. Like I'd love to get My Little Society cards because it's literally my favorite title track. But yeah, it's just not a priority, so I just jumped to Talk and Talk. Then we have Midnight Guest, and then from our Memento box, which, speaking of that album, in case you didn't know, that was Yuri's last comeback with the group. So to commemorate full OT9, I did collect a OT9 set for that album as well because I just had to. I had to. And I really adore these cards a lot. So this is like literally one of my favorite pages. Like it's insane. But yeah, there's that. And then this actually works really well as a transition page into my Soyeon and Chaeyoung collection. So yeah, I still am collecting 2 members. It was honestly a really easy decision because I don't think I mentioned it yet, but I do consider Promise as like my ult 4th gen group. So very easy decision to collect like another member alongside Chaeyoung. So yeah, I just have these 2 cards for each of them from Unlock My World. And then here are just all of the extra album cards I have, mostly Seram, which honestly works out because she is technically my 3rd bias as well. So yeah, I got a bunch of those extra cards, and then I went ahead and gave Yuri her own like little section there. I have a Yuri pop. I think this is Universal Music Japan. I could be wrong. I'll put it somewhere on the screen if I'm wrong. And then again, like I said, I have like extra random serum cards because I got them in a lot for that one Memento box card I needed. So yeah, that's Promise 9. And then for this group, oh, you're probably wondering who it could be. This is actually for Loossemble. I just haven't gotten a chance to get an extra Loossemble album yet, so their cover page is unfortunately blank. Although, of course, I do have my Loossemble and LOONA collection combined, so for LOONA, they're still represented. I have this lovely little OT12 picture on the back. But yeah, need to make a cover page for Loossemble. And as you can see, my bias in Loossemble/LOONA is Miss Kim Hyun-jin, which, fun fact, she is actually my 4th gen ult bias. So yeah, my bias and my ult group are different for 4th gen. But yeah, this woman is something else. I don't know. For Loossemble Hyunjin, as of right now, I am collecting 1 card from each photo book. And then I did collect her full Ever Music set, which is thankfully complete. And I got my hands on her Make Star benefit, so I do have that as well. But lately, after perusing Mercari Japan, I actually might expand my Hyunjin Loossemble collection, so this might change in upcoming videos. But yeah, this is kind of where I'm at for her right now. And then you already know, kept some extra cards, couldn't help myself. So I even have Vivian Hiju for make star pops, so that's pretty fun. And then after that is Loossemble, hello, LOONA. So for pre-debut Hyunjin, I just collected her solo, her unit with Heejin, and then from the LOONA 1/3 albums, I'm only collecting her normal cards from each of those. And I'm only missing her Love and Evil card, which kills me because it's literally my favorite pre-debut Hyunjin card out of all of these, and it's still the one that I'm missing. But it is what it is. And then I managed to get 3 of her attendance cards, so I do use those as my fillers. For OT12 stuff, I actually only have this 9 pocket page, which might sound insane considering I said she is my 4th gen ult, but I used to have plans on collecting more. But honestly, after everything that went down with BBC, lately I just found it weird for me to buy any like OT12 album photo cards of Hyunjin. Like, there's no problem to anybody that's still doing that. Like, I literally watch YouTubers that back collect LOONA and I enjoy every second of it. It's just for me personally, it just feels weird. Like, even though I know the money isn't going to BBC, it's going to fellow orbits, it's just, I don't know, it just feels weird to me, as of right now at least. So the fact that I have a nice, lovely little 9 pocket, I'm content with it. So yeah, I just have both of her plus cards, 1 from Hash, 3 from whatchamacallit, Midnight, 2 from and then this one from Flip That. Sadly, I don't have multiply represented on this page. I would love to have it eventually, but those cards are just not in my price range, so this is what we're sticking with for now. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Hyunjin for LOONA stuff. Really fingers crossing that they'll eventually have an OT12 come back, so then I can add to this collection more comfortably. So yeah, anyways, moving on. I do have a Vivi page because I don't think I mentioned it, but Vivi is my second bias in LOONA. So I gave her her little own page as a transition page to the extra, to the extra LOONA cards. So thankfully, I do have at least 1 card of every member, which is really, really nice. Most of these are Heejin because she is my 3rd bias in LOONA. Yeah. So that's that for album cards. And then I do have, oh yeah, I have her freaking calendar cards from Ant. Like, I don't know. They're just here on a random little 4 pocket. But then I do have some non-album stuff. So I think, if I remember correctly, this is 2019 LOONA Island summer package. Could be wrong. But then these are the first light stick cards. So I have her individual and her unit with Heejin. This is a Midnight MMT, 2021 Seasons Greetings, 2022 Seasons Greetings. And then from the LOONAverse From concert trading card set, right? I do have her unit with Heejin. And then this absolutely insane card. This is probably one of my favorite Hyunjin cards, or just photo cards in general. I just love this card so much, and she's the reason why I'm obsessed with this pose now. Like, I used to not really care for it too much, but she, like, hello, she kind of changed the game with it, for me, at least. But then lastly, from the LOONA of the World concert set, I do have her unit with Vivi, which, can I just say, the absolute chances that both of her units are with the rest of my bias line? Yeah, it was just meant for me. So yeah, that's the LOONA/Loossemble collection, which leads us to the last girl group in this binder, which I'm sure you can already tell who it is. But it is none other than SSERAFIM, which I recently made this cover page, and can I just say I'm very proud of it. But yes, for SSERAFIM, they are the only other group alongside Fromis9 in which I collect 2 members for. And I don't think I mentioned it with my Fromis9 collection, but the initial idea was just to collect 1 card for each member for each era, but obviously with Unlock My World Fromis, that kind of changed, but I'm still trying to stick with that plan for SSERAFIM, so just 1 card per member per era. Obviously, there's only 3 eras right now for SSERAFIM. We have, or at least Korean eras, we have Fearless, Anti-Fragile, and Unforgiven. I really, really hope that they are going to continue using these envelopes because I think it just looks really nice when it comes to like my 222 layout. So SSERAFIM, whoever your album designers are, please continue this theme. Thank you very much. That's the Sakura Kaza collection as of right now, but I do have SSERAFIM OT5 for Fearless Japan. And then for extra cards, I do have a couple extra Sakura and Kazahas. And then I have a couple one Unshe, a couple Yunjins, and then sadly I have yet to pull a Chaewon. But then after that I have those units and group cards, and then the huge group cards they did for Fearless Japan. I don't know why they made them so big. But yeah, that is the girl group binder. yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the last big binder. Alright, so now for the last big binder for the video, we have my boy groups binder, although I do have some miscellaneous stuff in the back. As I mentioned in the beginning, I only collect 2 boy groups as of right now, and the first one is 17. So you can probably already guess who my bias line is based on this cover page alone, but just in case, my bias line is June, Vernon, and S. Coops. And for June, I am just trying to collect 1 card per album right now. And I'm starting with an ode because this album has my literal favorite June card to this day. I'll put it up on the screen for reference. But then after that, we have Hengare, ready to be. Golly, your choice, geez. And then please ignore my misspelling of Attica or Ataka, whatever you want to call it. And yes, I am skipping semicolon because I personally just don't like June's cards for that album, so I am skipping that one. But then we have Face the Sun, so I have 3 cards for that album, 3 cards for Sector 17, 1 for FML, and then for 17th Heaven, I have 2 of his carrot cards, although I do really want to get his full set, so this page is going to definitely change. But then I have his full 214, I think is the version. Yeah, I pulled his full set. That's kind of all I have for June right now. And then I have Vernon next, which for Vernon, I just kept whatever I pulled or whatever I traded with my sister. No really specific collection goals for him. Although I think like June, I'm going to try and get the carrot cards for him for this concept. And then we have S. Coops. So for him, I just have this 9 pocket page. After that, we have all of my extra 17 cards, and I just have these again in member age order. So you'll notice I have a ton of extra cards for 17 because they are actually one of the few groups that both me and my sister collect. So I do tend to keep cards just in case we ever want to trade in the future. So yeah, that's why I do have quite an abundance of 17 extra cards. And plus a lot of these are just really, really cute. So I kept a lot of those for those reasons too. But those are all my extras. This is for a potential OT13 set, although after the 17th Heaven carrot version, I might have to replace it with the raincoat concept, but this is still a very, very nice one as well. So I might still commit to this because I don't think it's really that hard getting carrot cards, so we'll see. And then I don't collect Japan stuff for 17, but my sister graciously gifted me these cards. So yeah, I do have a little Japan page. And then for non-album, I do collect a little bit for non-album, not extensively. For this page, this is my like Be the Sun page because the Be the Sun tour was actually the very first K-pop concert I had ever been to, and another just life-altering event. To commemorate it, I did collect June's full trading card set, and then I have his, I think this is the touring VOD pre-order benefit, and then I bought these 2 Osaka. I think these are the stamp rally cards, right? But I bought these because this is like very reminiscent of what he wore during the encore stage at the concert that I went to. So that's literally why I bought those cards. And then as you saw, I did also collect a Vernon set, and I even got the group card and the unit with him and Vernon in it. And then I also bought the, I think this is the DVD set, right? But I do have the full OT13 set, and this is how I do my OT13 layouts. So I have it units, and then within those units, it's age order. So we have hip hop unit. For performance team, I have it going like opposite age order, like kind of like a mirrored type of deal. And then just vocal team in a standard 5 pattern in age order. So yeah, that's how I do my OT13 layouts in case anyone's curious. And then after that, I do have only 7 of the Name 17 photo book sets. So this is like the set that me and my sister pulled because me and my sister went halfsies on this photo book and we did a draft style of who got what card. So I ended up with, as you can see, the entirety of performance team as well as Seungkwan and Vernon. And then here are just some random non-album cards. Like I have some Daikon cards. Again, these were just like cards that I got from my sister, so shout out to my sister for that. And then even more random cards. Yes. Yeah, there you go. So that's 17. And then we move on to the next boy group, which is Day 6, which all of them just recently discharged and had a concert. So I am super stoked that I'm going to be able to pick up this collection again because I'm sure they're already working on a comeback. I collect Wonpil. Again, just trying to collect at least 1 card per album for him. And funnily enough, even though Wonpil, you know, went to the army and everything, I told myself that I was going to finish his collection because I literally only needed these 2 cards. And now here we are with him discharged, and I still don't have those 2 cards. But it is what it is. But after that, I do have one from Gravity, these 2 cards from Entropy. For the Demon, I have his normal Pob, and then this is his album card, and then I do have 2 Negentropy cards. After that, we have the Even of Day subunit. So for those albums, I just collected his selfie cards. So for debut, they were all selfies, but then for Right Through Me, only 2 out of the 4 cards were selfies. So these are the 2. And then I did get my hands on his Sub K as well as his MMT card. So I have those. For the solos, my sister actually gifted me her Young K dupes, so I do have Young K here. And then these were my Wonpil pulls. Unfortunately, I did pull a duplicate, but I've kind of just kept it for now because I don't really mind it. But yeah, I don't know why I'm keeping it really. But yeah, those are the solos. Here are all of my unit cards of Wonpil. Funnily enough, the 2 units I pulled literally made up Wonpil. So I decided to store that side front facing because I thought it was funny. And then you already saw a peek of it. These are my extra cards. So just about 1 of each member here. And then here we just have extra units and group cards. And then another set of cards that my sister gifted me. Because yes, we also both collect day 6. But yeah, these are I believe from the winter edition trading card set that they did. Yeah. So yeah, love those cards. And that's it for my boy groups. That's it for all the groups I collect, really. Because now we have a section of miscellaneous groups. So I do have a small 4-pocket binder for all of my miscellaneous groups, but I did keep some collections in the 9-pocket style for reasons I'll explain. So for starters, I have themed pages. So this first theme is the ʔっhey page. And as I mentioned earlier, Hyunjin is the reason why I got on this on this pose, but obviously Mr. Hoshi himself is the one who, in my opinion, popularized it. Yeah, these are just some pulls that I got featuring the cat claw or the ʔっhey. So we have Chang from Twice, San from ATEEZ, Soyeon from Promise 9, Junghan, Hoshi, and DK from 17, Bangchan and Changbin from Stray Kids, and then Jiwon from Cherry Bullet. And then on the other side, I became a little obsessed with the finger heart pose, which I know sounds very basic, but it's because at the Twice concert, I got a Dion interaction, basically, and she sent me a little finger heart, so now I'm obsessed with that pose just a little bit. So I have Chaeyoung and Taeyeon from Twice, Joshua, DK, The 8, and Dino from 17, Jay from ENHYPEN, Han, and Seungmin from Stray Kids. So yeah, those are my 2 little themed pages. Surprisingly, I am able to make up exactly 9 cards for each page, but who knows, these pages might grow in the future. But yeah, for now, I just kind of have them back to back. And then the next theme, I guess you could say, are the K-pop acts that I got to see in person. So the first K-pop act I actually ever saw was J-Hope's set at Lollapalooza in 2022. I do try to buy the album or like try to get cards of whatever album they were promoting at that time when I saw them. So I have his Jack in the Box stuff, and then these are just 2 extra BTS cards I have of him. Then we saw New Jeans again at Lollapalooza for 2023. So I think this is from Oh My God, but then I do have stuff from Get Up. So I have these 2 Weverse sets, and if you're wondering, like all of these are Weverse cards, these are mix and match sets because once again, me and my sister did a draft style for these cards. So in case anyone's wondering, it's a mix and match for that reason. And then after that, we have the light stick set, because I did buy the light stick too. So that's New Jeans. At that same Lala, we saw TXT. So I actually bought albums from their Lucky Draw event or their pop-up store at Lala, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on a full OT5 set. So very, very thankful for that. And then we have G-Idol. So I saw them during the Freedy tour. So my bias is actually Minnie, so I do have quite a bit of her, but then these are just some other album cards that I pulled. And then the last section are just a couple collections that I ended up dropping, but just decided to keep in this portion, or like in a 9-pocket binder, basically. So we start off with Wien from Mamamoo, which I must say I actually might pick her back up again, but I might just collect her for her solo stuff and just do like 1 card per album. So it's like a super like chill collection really. But yeah, I might pick her back up because she was one of my OG collections. Like I picked her up when I first started collecting, but it was just such a slow progress collection. So that's why I ended up dropping her. But yeah, I might pick her back up again for her solo stuff. Oh, I even have extra Mama Boo cards as well. So I have this Moonbyul and Hwasa on the back. And then we have Kepler's Xiao Ting. Yeah, like I said, just another collection I ended up dropping. But still, absolutely adore her. And I even have some pobs of hers and even her Star Magazine card. And if I remember correctly, I believe this is Make Star, Tower Records, and then Beat Road, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And then I even pulled her like baby photo thing from the album, so I have that in the middle. And then the last collection actually isn't really a dropped one. He's kind of just in here because he's halted because he's in the military right now. But I don't know, I don't really consider myself a BTS collector, but I really love Jin, so these are just the Jin cards I have. So yeah, that is going to do it for the last big binder. I still do have 1 binder left for this video, and it is my small little 4-pocket binder with all of my extra miscellaneous groups. Alright, so we're at the last binder. So this is a little 4-pocket binder that I bought from Walmart back in the day. I think I bought this like a year or 2 ago. And I just have Ultra Pro 4-pocket pages in here that I hole punched myself to make them fit. But yeah, these are just all groups that I've just bought albums of or bought cards of just because I just either really like the music or, you know, obviously my bias. I just love my bias that much. So we start off with Handong, or Dreamcatcher I should say, because although Handong is my bias, I do have some other cards of the rest of my bias line. So we have Jiyu and Yuyan, which, I mean, obviously most of the cards in this binder are going to be of my bias or my bias line. So I apologize if I start to sound a bit repetitive here when it comes to that. But yeah, I also have these 3 non-album cards for them. We move on to ITZY, again, my bias line overall being Chaeryeong. Then we have Yeji. For aespa, I got this Karina card for free. I honestly don't know what it's from, but I love me a Karina, so I kept that card. Then we have Cherry Bullet, who I'm really hoping to have a comeback soon. My bias is Haeyoon, but I literally kept all of my Cherry Wish pulls because I just love them. And I haven't had the chance to get Cherry Dash because I do want to buy their albums to help support them. But yeah, I just haven't had that chance to get Cherry Dash yet. Then we have Stacy. My bias line is Sumin and Seon, but I do have this Yoon as well as this J on the back. And then one of the groups that I just recently got into is Kiss of Life. Hello. But yeah, these are again just album pulls. I bought their debut and their first comeback. And Miss Julie is my bias. So when I had the opportunity to pick a pop card, I picked hers. And this is from Make Star. So yeah, I tend to have Make Star pops, I'm learning. But then after that, oh my gosh, I have an extra Hanel card, jeez. After that, we have IZ*ONE. So I'm gonna be honest, I got into IZ*ONE really late, as in like 3 months before they deworded late. So I just have cards from their first and last album for my bias line, so it was Eunbi and Haewon. But I do actually have their pre-order set from One Reeler, which is really nice because honestly, every group should do full group pobs. Like, is it really that hard? Is it really that difficult? I personally don't think so. And then we have the rest of my bias line in Kepler right here. This is a Joyeori card I got for free. And then we've got Blackpink. Bias is Jisoo, but I do have this Jennie card. Oh My Girl. Bias is Yubin, but also biased Jiho and Eren with this Pola on the back. Now moving on to the boy groups. For NCT, like as a whole, my bias line is 10, Winwin, and Mark, and these are literally, or not this one. These 3 are literally my favorite cards of theirs at the moment, so very glad to have each of those. And then after that, we have more BTS cards, just the rest of my bias line, which is J-Hope, Jin, and V. So I have some V cards. Then I also kept this Jimin and Jungkook that I pulled. Here are just all of their B, like, horizontal cards. And then these are just some extra cards I got as freebies. And then another boy group, just another group I mean, that I recently got into is ATEEZ. Me and my sister went a little crazy and bought a couple of their albums from Target, and I pulled like quite a bit of Hongjoong and Mingi, which is kind of wild because they're my bias line. And San too. San's part of my bias line, but Mingy is my overall, in case anyone's curious. But yeah, I pulled like so many Hongjun and Mingy. It was actually kind of wild. And then these are just some extra cards I decided to keep. I think I have an extra, yeah, I have an extra Hongjun on the back. And then lastly, for this binder, I do have this little Stray Kids page, bias line being Pangchan and Lino. But yeah, that is going to do it for my entire collection. I think this is going to be almost an hour long. Didn't think it was going to be that long because I always considered my collection to be pretty small. But yeah, that's my collection, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not a super fast collector or like an avid collector. I don't know, I'm not really that consistent, so I don't really know how often I'm going to be posting on this channel, but I thought I wanted to start it, at least for fun. Hopefully you guys bared with me. I apologize if there was any point where I tilted the binder too much. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. And stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good day.
Just one.
Just one. Have a good one, but just
one.